Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast, powered by the Charleston American Marketing Association and broadcasting from our home at Charleston Radio Group. Thanks to CRG, we're able to talk with the movers and shakers of Charleston, from economy to art, from hospitality to tech, and everything in between. These leaders have made a home here in the Lowcountry. They live here, they work here, they make change here. Why? Let's talk about it.
Hello, this is Compton here. Welcome to the Charleston Marketing Podcast. I'm your co-founder and president of Roomba Advertising and your incoming president of the Charleston American Marketing Association. I'm gathered here. Thank you. You guys, I need you guys on board as well. Please, I need leadership. But before I ask you guys to give me your time, let's talk. I've got Amber and Rachel of Matchstick Social here. Guys, say hello.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Matchstick Social. Tell me about it. Tell me about where did it begin, Matchstick Social? When did you guys start? And then we'll get a little bit about you guys personally and how you guys are opposites yet the same, yet perfect match in heaven type of thing. Oh, did
There's
I just
something
land
to that
in
there.
A match made in heaven. I love it.
I think I did
Matchstick.
give you a card once that said, like, we're the perfect match.
Absolutely.
It was definitely like
I
a
feel
Valentine's
I've got
Day card.
5. Yeah, I've gotten 5 like I love you cards from Rachel, and they all have sort of a match theme. 5 is
We're in
small.
a marriage.
Yeah,
Just-
we're.
Yeah.
I actually can I tell that joke?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Why not?
I was watching this hilarious video of this guy going through all of the nicknames for your friend named Rachel.
Okay.
And I sent it to her, and one of them was inter-Rachel marriage. And then she sent it to her, or she sent back to me, that's what you and Rob are in, her
My
husband.
husband.
And I was like, that's 100% what Rob and I
Oh
are
my
in.
gosh, it's hilarious.
I know, it's great. So anyway, we began in 2012. We got the opportunity to open shop on King Street. You know, we wanted to make this big
Ooh,
splash.
cool.
And we had this big bright sign right above 9 West.
Love
even though
it.
we were technically on King Street, but we were in, like, you go up and down a path and up again. And you're
Sure.
sort of like not on King. But, you know,
But we had the signage.
we had the
100%.
signage, which was worth it.
Love it.
And we made this big splash, and we had, you know, a larger team than we needed at the time,
Yeah.
because we were, you know, new, and we
Yeah.
wanted to be entrepreneurial and look the part.
Yeah.
And so we started there. After about 2 years, we moved to West Ashley, and decided to spend
Actually
a little.
started to be a business.
Yeah, started to
instead
make
of a
more
hobby.
money as opposed to, I think we could do this.
Mhm.
But we moved to West Ashley. It was much more affordable. And
Mhm.
it just, like, that's where we were really like, we have decided to grow. We are going to start going into different industries, start going into different technologies. We're going to hire outside of the scope of work that you and I do so well. We'll hire experts other than what we do, which
Sure.
is nice. And then we've since moved to a much larger office in West Ashley off Playground Road. And
Cool.
it's been amazing.
I
we
gotta
love
check it out. I
there.
can't wait to go see.
It's great. Yeah.
It's
come
beautiful.
on.
I feel
Love
like everybody
agencies.
walks in and goes, "Oh, wow!" And I'm like, "Okay, that's what we were going for."
Half
know,
the people do that, and half the people go, "You pay for an office? Like,
Ah.
imagine your overhead." Things
Yeah.
like- but we feel strongly. I mean, for our team to be able to work together and just bounce off ideas. Amber was in Oklahoma for 5 years, and literally the first 3 was it 5 years? I just kind of said
5 years.
Okay. The first 3 months of her being back, we're like, oh wow, it's way nicer to
We
be together.
forgot because you
Yeah.
just get into this cadence. And I mean, to be fair, for those 5 years, we were taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, kind of all the time in every area of the business. And then when we were back together, my dad was like, duh,
Yeah.
it's the powerhouse. Like,
Oh,
of course, it's going to be
yeah.
great. But when we got back together, we're like, oh, shit, we totally forgot
Okay.
how.
Oh yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna ask, are we allowed to curse? Because we probably need a filter.
Probably-
we might need like a beep.
Yeah, well, I'll beep it out, but
Okay.
we try not to curse
Yeah,
because
fair.
there is a button on the sound board there that could go live, and every time if it goes live and they curse, they like get fined,
Oh,
like hundreds of
okay.
dollars,
Yeah,
like
that
lots
is
of
bad.
money.
Wow,
So we
okay.
try
Say
not
no
to,
more.
but it's fine.
I'm going to
Yes.
try.
PG.
I'm going to
PG
try very
13.
hard.
It's interesting. So I didn't know about the Oklahoma 5 years and
Yes.
and the 2 steps and the 1 step back. It's very similar to the relationship that I have with my business partner. He's in Tampa right now, George, who I do love as a brother as well. Like you guys get along, him and I get along. Opposite people, right? The whole thing. But you left Oklahoma. Was it a struggle? Like what was the struggling? What were the 1 steps? You know what I mean?
I think it was more that because we weren't in a room constantly talking and learning from our hiccups and learning from our mistakes, whether it be hiring or with a client or
Yeah.
with a technology or whatever. We just weren't learning as quickly because she and we're always going to learn super quickly when we're able to talk it out.
Yeah.
And because I had 2 small kids, I was working from home.
Yeah.
She's literally holding down the entire fort. She's managing, she's hiring, she's doing everything. So it's like we just weren't on the same page like we were as soon as we got back in the office. And even when we've had kids, when we're in the office, it's so much better. You're just so much less distracted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say also the pandemic made
Yeah, of
a
course.
big influence on our industry.
Mm-hmm.
So there were times where we had to be leaner and, just more of the highs and lows, I think, are things that most agency owners
Yep.
or like anyone who works in marketing
Yep.
can understand because it's so dependent on the economy and outside forces.
We're the first ones to leave here, aren't we?
Right.
First ones to
Absolutely.
Right.
exit the budget.
So I think there were like with us being a little more siloed after meeting, in a different company, and then what Amber didn't say about our kind of story was she was given this opportunity and essentially to take over a small marketing firm and called me at like 8:00 from the bathroom of a steakhouse.
Okay.
And Amber's enthusiasm, like 3 sentences of like, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be great. You down? And I was like, I guess I'm quitting my job. That's literally like, she came up with the name. She was like, let's go for it. And I was like, all right, we're going for it. So and I was 25,
Okay. Yeah.
So I would say like the first couple of years, like I apologize to any employees who maybe had to learn from my mistakes, but
our mistakes.
there's a lot, and clients. I mean, we have one client who I'll never forget because we literally lost money off of,
Oh, sure.
And looking back at, you look hindsight and it got us here and we're grateful for it all. But it's less of like the highs and lows and more of just like the discomfort of learning and being we were given this amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
We've been able to buy out that investor and like truly have this be our business. And a lot of that shift was with, 5 kids between the two of us, and Oklahoma, our right-hand woman moving to Seattle, like just the natural changes.
Are you still working with the
Yes.
Seattle? That's
Yes.
great.
She's back. She's in Georgia now. She's married to she made the unfortunate decision, as I did, to marry into the military. So you never really know where you're going next. I'm just kidding. I love.
But he's actually graduating tomorrow.
Yes, so he's graduating tomorrow, and then they are on their way here after her maternity leave. They'll be in Charleston for about 18 months for the first time in 6 years.
So Amber, and her name's Nicole,
Yeah.
and she's been with us for 8 years.
8 years.
So Amber and Nicole have never worked in the same office before.
Stop.
Which
Yeah.
is hilarious because we're so close.
Yeah, you said right-hand woman, so it's like
she is
Well,
our
it'll be
right
fun
hand woman
for you guys.
sure.
But really our full team. We're
Full
just
team, how
excited
many?
to have the full team
Yeah.
in the same office, the energy of like, being able to be creative. So what is it like for you with having your partner not physically here?
We do a lot of FaceTime. We do a lot. We talk. No, I don't feel detached if that's the thing. No, not at all.
I think a big part of it for us was we kind of consciously knew we wanted to be moms, and
we're both dads too.
Right.
We both have young children under 10.
Right. So like there was a little natural, not pause, but like plateau in growth during that time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then in this next kind of phase, because
let's go, baby.
Yeah.
we're
We got
ready.
all our babies.
Yeah.
We got all
How
our
old are the babies
done.
now? How old are the babies
Well, the
right now?
youngest is 2.
Well,
Yes.
okay.
So we got
Yeah.
10, 8, 5, 3, 2.
I have 5 and 3. You have 2,
10, 8,
10,
5, 3, 2
Oh
are
my
the ages
goodness
of our kids.
gracious. All right. I've got 2 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
All right. So that's easy compared to what y'all are going
10,
through.
She'll be 10 in July, but
Yeah.
9.
So you're like, it's always that last child, right? That it'll raise itself.
Oh, Everett's
You know what I mean?
fully.
You're 2 years old, I'm ready to go to work.
Yeah.
Everett is the most independent of all my children by far.
I'm sure.
He's just like, all right, here I am.
Everett, that's a cool name.
I had a neighbor who had 3 kids, and I always knew I wanted to have 3, but we took a big break between number 2 and number 3. And I asked my neighbor, I said, should I go for number 3? Like, do you have any advice? And she goes, oh God, number 3 is like having a purse.
Yeah.
Oh
She's
my
like,
God.
that's fine.
I've
They're
heard that
all
too.
so amenable and ready to go. And she's right. They just get in where they fit in. They're
Yeah.
like, here I am. Let's do this. I
Aw.
love it. He's got great energy.
That's cool for sure. Well, he gets it from mom. How big is the agency? How big?
So we have.
You have to answer
I know.
this.
We always
Like,
I
yeah.
always answer
We-
it correctly.
We have
Right?
9 full-time, including
Yeah.
ourselves.
Mhm.
Amber and I recently hired a VA who I'm not counting. And then we have great partners,
Yeah.
that we'll work with on certain projects.
Mhm.
And
Anyone who's
Our-
listening, we work very well with others.
Yeah.
and I would
I say
say
that a
we're
lot, too.
also hiring.
Yes, also hiring.
Also hiring. I gotta find that.
Please submit your resume.
That she was from Montreal. I gotta find her. I met her last night. She's like, yeah, I need a graphic designer.
Great.
Hopefully we'll, but yes, this is why we do these podcasts too, is to get those words out there.
For
because,
sure.
we have an intern right now. Fabiana's here. She's from the College of Charleston. There's other interns that we have through the AMA as well. So
Well, I was
Um,
thinking about you, Fabiana, because I also did something similar in college, and you had different roles that you decided which one, and I insisted on being the camera woman.
Oh.
I was like,
Oh.
which is so.
I know. I'm very
like,
surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just hold the. I think my job was to just pivot the camera like 30,
Degrees,
inches
yeah.
at one point, and I was like, got an A, great. But it was very cool. It was very cool to be a part of. But it makes me laugh now that I was like, I don't want to.
My internship out my senior year of high school, I went to work for, and I don't remember the name, but it was in Myrtle Beach, and it was a publisher. And I think about it all the time. I wrote copy for like an entire catalog of a golf course.
Mhm.
Cool.
Like I wrote like their entire, and I was like, man, was I qualified to do that?
Right.
Probably not. I'd love to see it and see if I'm still proud of it today.
isn't that crazy what they put us through as an interns back in the
I
day?
was
Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
Sink
And then
or
I went on a
swim.
bunch of sales calls and
Yeah.
was like trying to help the saleswoman like convince these people to spend thousands of dollars. I'm like, yeah, okay.
yeah.
I had it.
My very first internship was at the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach.
So jealous.
It was the
I
coolest.
bet.
Like I was able to coordinate meet and greets with the artists, and like I mean, it was when Facebook didn't have. It was like I was like posting on MySpace basically.
MySpace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rip.
I'm that old. But it was so fun. And I had this dream that I was going to like work before it was Live Nation. I was like, I'm just going to market for,
Bands.
all over town.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You just
Yeah.
missed a talented violinist.
Oh, really?
Well,
Out,
I may have met her upstairs.
they may
That's
have
her.
thought you were
Yeah.
her.
They're doing a little thing up there now. We're at the Charleston Media Solutions, and Ada came in and did a little quick interview with us too on the American Marketing Association and talked about
Cool.
marketing and music. And she played a little tune for us.
Cool.
She made up a song on the spot.
Wow.
That's
Like I
so
can't wait to
impressive.
like
Incredible.
like
So
super
impressive.
talent. So it's fun like just talking to different people. you know,
Amber's
like-
a singer, and I
Oh.
am insanely jealous. I love music, and
Yeah.
I have no.
same.
I can hear it and
Yeah.
appreciate it, but I have
Right.
no musical talent.
Can
at
you?
all.
We just got in a big argument about a John Mayer song the
That's
other day.
true.
John Mayer just came up in the last episode too.
Oh,
with
no
Ada.
way.
It's
Funny.
her favorite musician is John Mayer.
Oh, now I love her
We love-
even more.
we
We
love
love,
John
John
Mayer.
Mayer. We got into an argument about one of his oldies but goodies, and she thinks it's too whiny, and I love it.
Which one?
Comfortable. It's from his I think it's from his EP or his LP, like the very
Yeah,
first
it's
LP.
Very whiny.
Comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You want to sing it?
No, I was about to, and then I was like, I'm recording.
We'll figure that out. I'll Google that here in a minute,
Yeah,
and then
good.
we'll
I'm curious if whose side you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Well,
bring
and
it up.
this is a perfect example of Amber and I. Is like we disagree on so many things, but we make it fun.
And also, we love John Mayer.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
like this.
we
like,
agree on the foundation.
We love to find the things that we disagree on because we agree on so much.
Yeah.
It's like the foundation is strong. So we're
Yeah.
like, what about this? What about this?
So if everybody's agreeing in the boardroom and at the boardroom and the meeting room, what have you, then nobody's really thinking.
Yeah.
So true.
So right.
I think that's her strongest suit she will, even if she doesn't actually believe the antithesis of what we're saying, she'll bring up the antithesis to make sure we've thought through everything. You know, like,
yes.
but
Which
what
is
about
probably
this?
very annoying, but
No,
hopefully it makes it
I don't think it's
stronger.
annoying at all.
Huge.
I think it does make it stronger because we can get into a situation where, especially because we work with all women, or there's, you know, we have clients who've been doing this for 30 years, their business. And so they kind of get into this, you know, what if we just do this? What if we kind of maintain status quo? And while we're good at going outside of status quo, I think Rachel will be like, well, let's think about how it'll be perceived from this angle or this audience.
Yeah.
And then it makes everything better for sure.
Yeah, you got to have all lenses, all views, all point of views. What do you do? What do you guys do best as Matchstick Social, right? And how can we help as far as getting more clients and getting you out there? And then what do you guys do separately, right? What are your each talents? So you can start.
Okay. So in terms of clients, I think the last 2 years we have really blossomed from a digital marketing agency to a full service marketing agency.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is we were really focused on paid organic content. We did a lot of like content for websites and that sort of thing. And now we've been able to do website design. We've been able to do print. We've been able to add a lot of different facets for these businesses who say, I really need an agency of record. You know what I mean? Like, I want to come and have a one-stop shop. And if there's something that we specifically can't do, or it's not in our capabilities yet, we're hiring for it, whatever, we'll say, okay, well, we have a trusted partner in Charleston. That's the wonderful thing about Charleston, is like there's such a rich network of professionals. And so we've been able to say, like, yes, we can handle this. Whereas 5 years ago, we were like, we would be too scared to say, yes, we can handle that.
Well, and I think 5 years ago, whether or not we wanted this to be the case, people came to us for social. Everyone thought of us as social media, which is where we started and where we were comfortable 12 years ago.
Okay.
So as we've, and even today, like when I'm in conversations, I think there's, that's just where we hung our hat at the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
And was great because that was really, truly, we wanted to be the best at this one thing that we knew we were the best at.
Right. We came from agencies, and I was very, definitely. You were like, what if we do this and this and this? And I was like, we don't need to do all that. I've seen it work horribly. You know what I mean? I've seen it go awry. And I didn't want to bite off too much for us. And so I think Rachel's had to slowly kind of push me into like, let's do this service. Let's do this service. And she's absolutely right. So now we've sort of grown to this level.
Are the riches in the niches?
Not for us. I
Right.
mean, I think as we have grown and learned, we know what's a better fit for us. And we're not afraid to pass on someone that we know a colleague is just going to do better work for. I mean, it happens quite often, and that's what I love about businesses in Charleston. I don't really know that anybody like views each other as competition as much as colleagues, which I appreciate.
I would love that. That's a great thing to say. You think that's practicing though?
In my experience, it's how I
definitely.
feel.
Yeah?
We
Good.
can shout out Legacy and Squeeze.
Okay, sure.
We talk
sure.
to them
Yep.
quite a bit.
We
Q
just
at
handed,
Legacy.
yeah, Q
Gasser
is
at
fantastic.
Squeeze.
All the guys at Squeeze
All
are
the
great.
guys at Squeeze are
I
great.
just went to a marketing, like a female marketing meetup that Charlotte Berger.
Oh,
created.
oh yeah, she
it
talked
was
about
fantastic.
that. She was on the show too.
It was like just being around a table, drinking a margarita with a bunch of women who want to support one another.
Right.
And yeah,
learn
that's
from
really
one another.
honestly, I mean, if people are talking smack, they're not saying it to my face at least, because
Smack.
my experience has been nothing but how can I help you? What are you working on? And we feel the same way.
I also think if you start with transparency, you're going to be met with transparency, as opposed to, I don't really know why you're calling me and you're trying to get information out of me. Like,
Bless your heart.
yeah,
Right,
people,
right.
if you start
I'm
with
from
like,
New York,
hey,
I don't know that.
yeah, like, hey, if this is what we need, and then
Right.
people are like, okay, great, this is what we need.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a perfect example. Like the guys at Squeeze, we were hiring, they were hiring. I think we ended up like swapping resumes, and it worked out. They
Yeah.
ended, we went with this candidate.
cool.
Yeah, and that's I think how it should be. There's plenty
100%.
of business to go around.
That's
and
what we're trying to
Yeah.
grow here. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to foster here at AMA and the American Marketing Association in Charleston. I asked that, was it practice? Because what I've learned from the time before us, I moved here in 2019 with this idea from Tampa, with this idea of collaboration with agencies, working with agencies, just like what you guys are doing now. But that's not what I was hearing, what was going on beforehand. And you were here in 2012, so you know that
why,
maybe
though? I think the environment shifted so dramatically when Charleston started to explode.
Okay.
Because not only did Charleston businesses explode, and we have just a ton. I mean, even if every single person got every single client they wanted, there would still be more clients,
right.
And we've become such a destination for people. So when they think of creativity, they think of Nashville and Charleston and Houston and these sort of like once middle markets.
Mm-hmm.
We're now a hotspot. So we're getting calls from out of state with as much regularity as in-state.
Oh, cool.
And so I think because of that, nobody feels the need to like grip on and hold tight and get too, precious about the leads.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I will say, without putting too much thought into it, in 2018, that was a time where the radio or like the radio stations or the bigger publications were selling digital.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of just trying to explain how we do it differently and defending our price point and all these other things. So you kind of held that client like so close to your chest of like, well, I worked so hard on this account or whatever it might be, that the collaboration may have not been there, because a lot of people, I think a lot of businesses that were working, paying budgets that now we're used to getting, seeing, they were like, oh, we're just going to do it with Live 5 News and they're going to handle our this or that, all the things. Because I remember that being a big turning point for us. I was one of our first,
well, it's like, when a bookstore, when Barnes and Nobles sits, opens up next to a small bookstore, like you're like, wait a second, we do that.
Well, and I think there's also I think at least the people that we've talked to have a real appreciation for, if you raise your rate, I can raise my rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that we're price gouging by any means, but it's like, if you're seriously undercharging for services and you're spending hours and hours and hours, and you see me doing the same thing for a lot more money, now you're not willing, you raise your price. Now I'm not worried about you undercutting me, and you're making more money. So really it becomes about who has the best skill set for that client.
We're lifting each other up.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
And also with software and that's this
accessibility
past week. Yeah. It's like, oh, what software are you using for reporting? We just switched from Sprout to Cloud Campaign, saved $10,000 or something like that.
Agency analytics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever it is. I don't know. It's all over my head.
We're
at this
scheduling,
point,
we're reporting.
but,
We're doing a lot of different software right now.
Yeah. Fair.
Are you really? Because I got a new one.
Okay.
Which one?
Oh, wait, you already know about
Colin.
it. You already know about it.
I do.
Because of Gasser. You already know about it.
Yeah, Gasser told me about it at the panel. I'm very excited to see it, and I'm very happy for him to have had that.
He's so cool.
That patent.
That dude's an onion.
Yeah, what a great way to describe
layers
him.
Of that guy.
Yeah,
Layers.
I agree. So it's funny because I feel like the situation at Squeeze is like everybody has their, like they have a really great personality and they're so warm and welcoming. And we were sitting across from them going like, oh yeah, this is like the energy that we feel when people come in to see us too. It's like you kind of, parts of this and parts of this really resonate.
Well,
with
just listening to them talk, we're like, oh yeah, we say that too, or like their dynamic.
They're bros.
Yeah, we enjoy
They're
them.
definitely bros.
Yeah.
Like, they're friends. They're Eric and Brian.
Yeah. They're great.
And their team. They do a special shout. They do our website. They
cool.
hold our website.
Nice.
Devin is our website guy. I don't know if you met Devin, but I love him. I have to shake his hand.
He
and buy him a
won
drink.
a Spark Award, right?
I may have met him then.
I think he won the best website last year.
Oh, good job,
if
Devin.
it's who I'm thinking about.
Yeah. So but our website didn't win an award, but neither here nor there.
Challenge accepted.
Exactly. But Squeeze helps us out with our website.
Cool.
So I love to hear that is actually in practice, like the collaboration, the lifting up different agencies is
I think the next step for us, at least, is to figure out that, like, big agencies do it, and at our previous agency, they did as well, or, like, we worked with other partners. It's figuring out how to have the conversation with the client of, this is our preferred partner for whatever.
Versus white label.
Versus fully white labeling, right.
I think white labels.
Well, it's just so tricky, and I don't know how to tell a lie.
It doesn't feel transparent.
It doesn't feel transparent, and it's more, I don't know. It's just like there's too many
back in the day.
possibilities.
Back in the day,
day.
when turning on ads meant turning on ads, as opposed to we
Right.
optimize
What day,
on
though?
the daily.
Like, specific what day are we talking? Like,
Right.
what
And
year?
so, well, like 6 years ago.
Okay.
Even, you know
All
what
right.
I mean?
Because
like,
I was
it's
going
like,
back to 2000s. But
back
that's just where
then,
my
it
back
was
in
like you could white label because somebody just had to have the setup and then turn it on and let you know once a month how it was going. But now it's like we're in this all day, every day. We have to be changing strategies. We have to be, messing with the algorithm and all of that. So it's like you can't. It's just harder if you want that level of communication. It's just not really possible.
Right. Well, and I think for the most part, clients don't care. We just haven't figured out what that positioning is.
It's the language.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of legacy, we have Q pulled us in on a proposal, and this is the first time that, like, at the beginning, the proposal is being presented, like, right off the rip with both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious to sit in on like what that looks like from the beginning. But
so real quick then, not to cut you off. Sorry.
Go ahead.
What part are they taking care of? What part are you taking care of?
TBD. I mean, this is like
you don't
so
even
vague,
know yet?
but no,
This is the
essentially
early phases.
we're gonna do. We have a lot of similar strengths.
Is it like an RFP that we're going after
Yeah,
type of thing? Copy. Yes. Okay.
And so we would probably handle like they'll help with some of the ideation for branding. We'll handle the actual development. They'll do the content creation.
Mm-hmm.
We'll handle the media strategy for all of it, SEO, web dev. But they'll be primary account managers and content developers in theory. But again, like I think the point of why I brought this up is more the collaboration of like, I think it's so cool that another agency was like, hey, I have this RFP at my desk. I'm not going to take this on independently. So from day one, we're meeting and working together because we, and this is not a local client. So I don't know.
Good point. Good point. Well, we can do more together.
We could do more together. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Makes my heart warm to hear that. We've done that too. We always played nicely in the sandbox since we were about 15 years ago since we started, because we were started as a multicultural agency, and we would help do the research and the strategy behind Hispanic marketing or what have you. Mm-hmm. So that's always been our thing is, and past president of the American Advertising Federation down in Tampa, both my business partner and I, we just like build community, and we saw it happening there. And when I moved here, I wanted to see it, but then I heard these kind of whispers of people really hold tight to their own, and you kind of proved that. You're like, back in the day, they kind of did, but now as Charleston's growing, and as we're all growing as agencies, and as the whole marketing atmosphere is changing every day, it's opening up more opportunity for all of us to collaborate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and work on our strengths, right? So that's great. I love to hear that. What can we do? So I like to give the notes, right? Like, what can I want our listeners to really go away from this conversation with some sort of note, some sort of, what do you think? And we've done a great job so far. You're killing it, by the way.
Oof.
You're killing it.
Thanks.
Super. She was super nervous before this. It took me months to talk her into coming on the show. And I was so surprised last night when I saw you typing. I literally was in the Google Docs seeing somebody type. I'm not sure who it was.
Well, you thought I bailed.
I know you bailed. No, you bailed. There wasn't a thought.
I think I emailed you at like end of January, and I was like, cool, I'll have anxiety until April.
Yeah.
Can't wait. No, but I like this way better conversational than I thought it was.
Okay, good. All right. Well,
and you're easy to talk
expectations. Well, thank you. As you guys are too. What kind of trends are we looking at? And are you guys digging in AI?
Yeah.
Of course.
Great question.
Right? Like, so
the question of the time.
It is really, but if you're, because right now we have college students, we've got solopreneurs, we've got small agencies, we've got big agencies, we got middle size. I like to talk to everybody. So what would a student, let's go with a smaller agency. Like, what do you suggest that they kind of tune into as far as a trend or a technology that you guys love? Is there an AI software that you guys love?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the obvious, I'll just start with like the low-hanging fruit, ChatGPT, since, in some tables it's a bad word, and in other tables it's a best friend, right? And for us, I have Amber, right? So I have someone which is invaluable for me to brainstorm with, bounce ideas off of. Almost always when I run with something without talking through it, it's not going to be as good as it could be. So what I'm getting at is if you leverage an AI software like ChatGPT to brainstorm, what am I missing? What am I not thinking about? Tell me 3 things that could be misinterpreted or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of you.
My favorite prompt
holes.
is be meaner.
Yeah.
Oh my God, because I use be friendlier.
Yeah.
It's like toxic positivity, this robot, and I'm always like, just be meaner.
What does that mean? What are you making it mean for?
She's saying, the trend that's like, tell me what you know about me based on
it's
our
anything. It'll say,
interaction.
I'll say review, like I'll put my client's book and I'll say review this book.
Oh my
and
gosh.
it will be like, this is the best book I've ever read in my whole life, and la 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 la. And then I'm like, be meaner, and it's like, well, some of the points are a little commonsensical, and blah, blah. And then like you get a little bit more critical, and I'm like, okay, thank you. That's why the robot is there.
Yep.
I don't
Really
need you to pat me on the back, robot.
Yeah, so I don't know about that. I like it more for you, like bouncing ideas off of to make the existing idea stronger.
Yes.
I don't believe that it should replace our unique ideas.
Of course.
That's my, the fear, right? We all saw the movie. It doesn't end well. So
what movie was it?
iRobot. Every movie that had a robot in it. Any robot movie that they take over.
Yeah.
Mitchell's
but I
versus
think.
the
Oh
Machines.
God, that was just in my
So
head just
good.
now. I was thinking about that one. I
So
love
good.
that
That's a
movie.
great
That's my favorite.
But I think that so that's my answer, I guess, for a smaller company that doesn't have an Amber like I do. And I will say the fear of like, designers are terrified all over because of the like things are going to have to change so much for it to. I just don't think you can replace skill.
Human.
I think think it's more about giving me the. Like making my idea, improving on my idea, giving me I have the foundation. Tell me what I'm not thinking about. I think that's the way to leverage it.
I also think people don't realize how obvious it is when it's ChatGPT writing stuff.
Right.
It's very obvious. It's like real easy to spot. And I also think that they think it's coming up with original thoughts. It's not. Yet it will, but it's not. It's a scraping tool, and it's an amalgamation tool, and it's spitting out ideas that are already on the internet.
She's saying plagiarism, but really nicely.
But like it's not even intentionally plagiarizing. It's just like statistically, you can't comb without propagating words that have been said before. And although marketing is all about making old stuff seem new, it's still not an okay practice to just churn out a bunch of stuff on ChatGPT and call it your own. It's not. And it's just going to make the idea stale. But what she's suggesting is like, I have an original thought. And sometimes it helps to just be like, is this an original thought? Like comb through and make sure I'm not accidentally absorbing this through osmosis somehow.
Yep.
We've had a couple of times where I'm like, is this logo already used? Because it looks kind of familiar in a
that
great
idea.
way.
Or naming of a product or have you.
So it's like just a more refined Google search in some aspects. But I think it's also like, here's my original idea. And here's the audience I'm going after. And here's some considerations that I'm trying to leverage, and then see what it spits out to help you along the way. But I don't think I think people who are worried about just constantly churning out content that's not exciting, that's how they're using it.
No, exactly.
How are you
it's a
using
tool.
it?
It's a tool. Same as you guys, right? Even I'm buying out my lease right now of my Telluride. So give me cars with third row seats with 30,000 miles on it that are in Charleston, and it spits out the different cars that are and where they're being sold at, and like I was like amazed.
My friend just told me the other day that, well, not the other day, the other day is relative. It could have been a year ago.
Yeah.
But she told me that she just puts ingredients in her kitchen, and then she'll say, give me some recipes. And I'm like, oh, that's so
pretty
genius.
I've done that too.
Yeah.
It's all the littlest things.
Yeah.
The littlest things.
Or travel planning.
This is fun. This is kind of a fun thing, though. And if you haven't done it yet, I want you guys to do it. Maybe not now, but when you get back, and then let us know. I was on the Marketing Mayhem podcast, the Gritty Gals, Jenny and Rebecca.
Haven't met them, but I'm familiar with the podcast.
Get on the podcast.
Okay.
I'll introduce. I'll connect you guys. It's. I was the first guy on their podcast.
Nice.
Great.
Very, very, very proud of that. I wore my dad's shirt and the whole thing. They turned us on, Stephanie and I. They turned us on to using ChatGPT to having ChatGPT roast you.
Oh yeah.
So I had it
Can't
roast my
So
LinkedIn,
excited.
like roast my LinkedIn, and what came? I'm like gut punched.
You're like,
Straight
What
gut
have I done
punch.
with my entire
dartboard
career?
to my heart.
So
It was
funny.
awesome. So we read it on air,
Yeah.
and the whole thing, and it should be launching next week. But and then they said, you want to feel better, have it pump you up, have ChatGPT like be your
Right,
cheerleader,
which is
if
your
you will.
be nicer to Amber's.
Yeah.
demeanor.
What
There it is.
Rachel was suggesting was we had this trend a while ago that was like ask ChatGPT to tell you something about yourself that you don't already know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woof. You were like, I was like, yeah, dead on. And I mean, I sort of knew it anyway, but it
Yeah.
was like, oh, this robot that I don't even use that much
Right.
knows exactly.
I read
what's wrong
mine and
with
Amber's
me.
like, how do they even know that? I'm like, it's really interesting
because we're
when
all
someone
6 different personality types total, and that's it.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Was it what recently I was on a call or like in a conversation? You'll have to remind me because I can't even remember my own story. But I was like, they were referring to AI as if they were a person.
Yeah.
She was in a proposal process, and the guy was
Yeah.
like, well, I asked.
Oh,
So
that's
she was
it.
giving the advice, and he was like, oh, yeah, that's what the people, or they said
She was
it.
like, they keep telling me that, and finally I realized, like, he is, or whoever it was using ChatGPT to help guide what the strategy should be for ads, and I was validating him, or he felt like, oh, I can trust what you're saying because that's what they told me, and it took me a while to realize he meant
ChatGPT.
AI. Yeah, it was really interesting
Super
and a little
interesting.
terrifying.
But
Yeah, no kidding.
on the other hand, if
I'm
you're
like, man, it took me a while to like map out what I want to do for you, and you
If
did
you're-
it with AI. I guess joke's on me.
But if you're a novice business owner, and we've heard so many horror stories of people just way overselling their capabilities
Sure.
and way just screwing up strategies right and left, and it would be helpful to have a little tool and be like, is brand awareness
Mhm.
this?
Right.
Is lead generation that? If you don't know,
That's such a good point because we know fake it till you make it very well. We've
Yes.
lived it. And
Same.
if we had a fallback to say like, is this right?
Yeah.
Business
when we were in
ideas,
our
whole thing.
20s,
Yeah.
that would have been lovely.
yeah.
Imagine
Sure.
what they're gonna have at their tool, on their toolbox now, like
I
all
think
the
about,
things.
I think about my girls all the time. I'm
You
like,
know?
are you guys even gonna like? I joked that my second act is I want to be a college professor.
Same.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you
You
go.
have your master's yet?
I do.
Fuck. Sorry.
I did that straight out of the gate because I knew.
I
was
know,
like,
I
I'm going to
didn't.
get into my career and I'm not going to want to do this.
I
So
go to
went
all
ahead
the
straight out of the
classes
gate.
and I say the same thing. Every class I go to, or we're talking to the students, I'm like, get your master's right now.
Yeah.
Don't screw around. Just get your master's.
Well, just do it on your free time, all your free time.
All the
your
free time.
time.
Yeah, that's coming up.
But my
Come on.
second act is teaching college, and I joked with my kids. I was like, I'm just going to have oral presentations at all times. Like,
Mm.
there's not going to be any writing anymore because because it will be so sophisticated that it won't be
You just have to
detectable.
alter how you teach.
Yeah,
your
you're going to
kids.
have to just be like, okay, you need to stand up and tell me what you think. And honestly, maybe Gen Alpha could really use that anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
You're going to be recorded at all times too. Which
Yeah.
terrifies me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
And-
maybe
Not great.
your AI could just do the lesson. You
Oh
can
my
just type
gosh.
it
My
in.
hologram,
Yeah.
like,
That's
Yeah.
so funny. George sent me an AI of him before our status the other day, talking about our status, and
Uh-huh.
it was creepy.
Was it?
I mean, it was
The
goodish.
mouth always, like,
the
smiles
mouth, and
while
then
it's
the
moving.
eyebrows do all these weird things, and weird points. But he was able just to prompt it and send it off within minutes.
Wild. Have
Wow.
you seen any of the videos of like sales calls with your voice scheduling a meeting? So like
Oh.
instead of cold calling,
Yeah.
you can pre-record yourself, and then AI would guide the conversation, book the call.
In my
Great,
voice.
I'll put you on my calendar. And
Well,
then
I will
all
say-
you have to do is show up, but they're doing all the cold calling. Not that I don't think we've ever. I think Gerald's and Massage Book were
We've
technically
we
cold called.
LinkedIn
Gerald's, they treat the
DMs
ladies
them.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that
I've
you
been
guys?
working with
You guys come up
them.
with the treat the ladies right?
That was like
'Cause
one of our first
I love that.
clients, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like local.
absolutely. It was one of our first that we didn't inherit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Massage Book, that was a cold LinkedIn DM, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I used
I-
to cold LinkedIn DM people for
Oh, I'm
sure.
doing that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still today.
I sent the message to the then CEO of all the things that they were doing wrong.
Yeah.
Because I
Sure.
had the confidence of a 25-year-old. I was like, let me tell you everything
wouldn't
you're
you?
doing incorrectly. And it just so happened that their marketing person was leaving. So he was like, you have my interest. I'll
That's
hear
what
you
it's all
out.
about.
And
And
we worked with
he-
them for over a decade.
Yeah, over a
That's
decade,
amazing.
and he had such the personality for that. Like that was so lucky, that approach, because
Yeah.
he's very much like, tell me everything I'm doing wrong. Let's fix it. Because he's
Oh,
a startup
that's
guy.
cool.
You
Yeah,
know?
he's great.
So I love Gerald's too because the radio spots are great.
Oh my
you
gosh,
automatically
yeah.
know that it's a Gerald's Tire.
Their traditional marketing. Did you guys see that blue billboard like a year ago and kind of like worry?
Mm-mm.
I was
Like,
driving.
where are they?
I was driving on 26 and it said, "We just having fun," but it was blue and not orange, and I was like, "Oh my god, are they doing a rebrand and didn't tell us or something?"
Oh, they
It
got
was
you.
so funny. But I was like, I was smart because I really did stick out. I was
Yeah.
like, blue billboard. What?
Yeah, they're great. What I love about them is it's not just a shtick. They really
Yeah.
like,
No, they'll
they
give you a
care,
rose.
and they really invest
The
in
ladies.
that.
I didn't
Yeah.
get a rose, or
Yeah.
was it a
No, it's a rose.
It's a rose?
You're
Yeah.
right.
Rose.
Yeah.
carnation? is
But
what
they're just truly good people who
Mhm.
They spend an exorbitant amount on those roses.
One
I
of-
believe it.
one
They
of the
look nice.
things that one of the guys at Gerald said to us like at least 10 years ago that I still think about, and I actually just told this story, but he said, you know what, there might be flying cars one day, but we'll still have customers because we're in the customer service industry, which
True.
I thought was like, I was like, wow, like that's such a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That because we really like, sure, we are very good at what we do. You are very good at what you do. But the connection and the relationship, that's what really matters. Because
Mm-hmm.
when AI changes our entire industry or whatever comes next, or if Facebook shuts down or whatever that might be, I think of that line often because the reason why our clients or our colleagues will still have our back is because of, the bigger picture.
The human
Right.
form, the relationship that was formed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's unmatchable. You can't match that. That's the sauce, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
But we'll have to go through a period where they think it can be matched before we realize that it can't.
Well, and that has happened. I mean, I don't know if you've experienced this, but we've had a couple of like, well, can't you just run, like, why am I paying for this? Isn't this mostly Chat GPT or isn't this mostly,
Yeah, you're giving me heart palpitations.
Yeah.
hearing that,
And
but
I'm like,
yeah.
and to Amber's point, I mean, it's going to be a lesson that we all learn and pivot and whatever. At least we kind of have the opportunity to know it's coming.
Mhm.
Right.
I was just looking up the John Mayer song.
Comfortable.
Hold on.
Are you allowed to play it?
Oh, that's a good. Well, podcast.
Okay. You got to wait until it gets
Hold on.
real whiny.
Oh, I got. It gets too whiny. I don't know if I
It's
know this
slow.
song.
For the record, I love John Mayer. I just can't believe. Just wait.
Huh? It is a little whiny, isn't it?
Yes.
Ah,
Just wait until
but
the
just
chorus.
chill. It's a beautiful song. It's just.
You have to listen to the lyrics.
Okay, just
This
wait.
is the
All right, here
part
we
she
go.
hates.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your facial expressions right now killing me.
Listener, she is disgruntled.
It's a little whiny. It's a little
whiny,
whiny.
right?
It's a
I
little
mean, he's a
It's a little whiny.
brilliant songwriter.
Yes.
He's classically trained. Like, I trust it. And I said this. Like, he knows, like, the science behind music.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm sure it's correct in the ears of someone who gets it. But for me, it's not the one.
Nope. What is your favorite
Well,
type
that's
of
like
music?
a top 5.
No,
for
I
me.
love John Mayer.
Yeah.
I love John Mayer, Dave Matthews, Amber
Yeah.
and I like see it. Find us in the pit
Same.
every.
We'll see you every
you-
June.
Dave Matthews. I love Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Oh,
are you
are you
going
going?
in June?
Sure. I haven't got tickets
Yeah.
yet.
Well, you better hurry.
Yeah.
You
They
better
are.
hurry.
The general admission's gonna be sold
They
out?
went like triple price this year.
Oh my gosh.
So annoying.
2 pit ticks for night one.
It's at Credit One, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool
It's like
venue.
720.
Yeah.
Stop
After
it.
Yeah.
everything.
And by the
I'm
way,
not
that's
going.
Credit
I know.
One's fault, so we're mad at you,
Like-
Credit One.
But we put it on the card.
Sure. Yeah. But what a cool venue, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
For
God,
live
the best
music?
venue. And I live on Clements Ferry Road. I live right across the street
do
from
you?
here, so I'm like, it's the best. I can be home at 11. Like,
Oh, sure.
had an
Yeah, it's right there.
amazing time, and I'm home at 11.
I
It's
just
awesome.
want to like be able to look up and see Dave
Yes.
sweat, and
Well-
we've done it for years.
Yeah.
So how
We've-
many concerts you've gone to? Like, I think I'm at like 23.
I think this will be 34 and 35. But back in the day, all you could afford was lawn. You paid $50 and you went and sat on the lawn.
Mhm.
And then, like, the first time I could afford good seats, I was like, oh, God, I'm
I'm
never
never-
going
yeah.
back.
Yes.
I'm never going to be back
Yeah.
there again.
But when
like,
you were
I
in
saw
the
him
lawn,
break
though-
a string. I'm
But when you're
listening
in
to
the
the
lawn,
jokes.
it feels like
I
the
would never
best
go down
time
there.
ever.
I would.
Yeah.
Why would I spend all that
Yeah.
money to sit down there when I got the lawn?
Exactly.
But I'm like one or the other. I don't need to be
Oh,
like,
like
in
in
a
a
seat. Well, because I'm
seat, yeah.
short too.
Yeah.
So like I'm not.
Yeah.
Last year, or no, he wasn't here last year, but the year before, I got floor seats, and we ended up going. My husband is 6'2", so like people like me have an issue with him being in front of them. But so we ended up going in the corner, and I had like the full view, but we paid a fortune for our tickets and
Sure.
ended up standing in the back, like just dancing by the bar the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun though.
Because going back and forth, just kind of like they won't let you stand there, but you
Right.
can dance
Yeah.
and walk.
Wait, so if you're a Dave fan, what's your number one song or album? your
I'm
favorite?
old school. Like Satellite always grabs me,
Nice.
no problem.
Yeah.
You know, under the table. I mean,
I'm a Before These Crowded Streets gal.
okay.
That's my absolute number one favorite album of all time. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's great.
My all-time favorite Dave song is "Stay or Leave," which 2-3 years ago,
years ago.
it was the second song he played, and I was like, I think he played like back to back the two that I like
We were
before
on the way
show.
in, and we
Yeah.
always do like, what do you want to
Yeah.
hear? And
Yeah.
she was like, man, I'd love to hear Stay or Leave. And I think I said like,
Yeah,
you're never gonna hear Stay or
random.
Leave.
He'll never play it. I don't
Yeah.
think he played it at like Wrigley once, like in a live album. You know.
Yeah. You guys are super fans. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Awesome.
Satellite.
Yeah.
Well, Satellite, it's like
no, it's a classic.
it's a
Everybody
classic.
loves.
Now it's come back around.
Yeah.
Like 10
Well,
years
yeah.
ago, everybody was like, boo, Satellite. But now
Yeah.
everybody loves it again. That's the
Um,
longevity of Dave.
That it's funny that you said Satellite is like blah, but because I disagree. But I will say Dave did an interview saying like he's not going to play Crash anymore because it's like old and creepy.
Mhm.
And then just because he's at the point where the lyrics feel
Okay.
a little odd. And then when he was in Charleston 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
he played, and I'm like, what in the
I
world?
think he even
Way
said.
to-
I think he even said like the energy is leading me to play this or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I went. We
He
always
was
go
feeling
both.
creepy
Yeah.
energy
Yeah.
in Credit One.
It's like these Charlestonians, they don't care.
Yeah. That's true.
My dad he's he knows enough, but he thinks it all sounds the same, and I think that's your choice, whatever.
Sure.
But I was telling him like, oh, I'm going tomorrow night too, and he was like, why in the world
Yeah.
would you go again? And I was like, well, everything's different. And he's like, wait, what? And I was like, you think I'm just
It's
out
not like a
here
Broadway
watching
play.
the same show over and over and over and over again? Like, I guess you would think that's nuts. I was like, he looks at the last 3 years playlist before he even sets the playlist.
I didn't
and
know
he's
that.
like, oh. And I was like, yeah, now the Friday night concerts are live on XM.
Okay.
So I think even Friday nights are going to be super different just because he doesn't want to give the listener on XM the same show. So it's, there's a whole
That's
science
cool.
to it. It's very cool.
I didn't know any of that. You
Yeah.
guys are really deep into the Dave, huh?
We're into the lore.
What else can we talk about? Like, is there any partnerships like in the community is there any nonprofits that you are
It sounds like we need to join the board of the
When-
AMA.
of the AMA? Correct.
Yes. Well,
you for
so
that.
we're members, but I've been open to it. It's just I blame my children. Really.
So
No.
I'm going to be incoming, so we're going to do virtual board
Right.
meetings.
like after bedtime
Well, yeah, we can talk about that. We'll have to figure that
or
out.
during the workday.
Right. That's tough, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of the
Well,
board members they can't break away from their day jobs. So right now it's at 5, which
five's
is
the worst.
which is really tough.
Yeah.
I'm usually cooking dinner and having a board meeting
yeah, or driving.
That's tough. Yeah.
or driving.
Yeah.
Right.
Working from home, gets me to my kitchen a little quicker than
Yeah.
you guys.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but we'll figure that out. We'll do a little survey, and I don't want to overextend anybody, and I don't want to stay stagnant either. We need fresh, new minds and smart brains and people looking at different views and just kind of like making and helping build the community.
I'm all
At
about it.
large.
It's something that we've talked about and
Yeah.
that I would love to be a part of. And everyone on the board that we've met is lovely.
Everybody's great.
Yeah.
Margaret's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's been president for 2 years. I'm trying to talk her into a third one. She's like, no, you're doing it.
Time to step up.
I know. And I've been here since 2019 and they've asked me a few times.
It's
Yeah.
a big
I'm like,
thankless
hard
job.
no,
It's
hard
a
no.
thankless
And then I'm
job.
like, shoot, it's time now. Okay.
Yeah.
But now I feel
When-
like I can handle it. A little bit better.
You asked if there's any like local clients we wanted to shout out.
Mhm.
So Recovery Jam is a organization we've been working with. I'm not sure when this is coming out, but April 12th,
Okay.
they'll be at the refinery.
Cool.
And it is a really wonderful organization.
Yeah, what do they do?
Supporting artists, musicians in recovery. So nonprofit, they'll have, I think there are several artists, both creative and musicians.
So
at
what's
their-
the organization called
It's
again?
called Recovery Jam.
Recovery Jam. Because I don't think we're going to be out April 12th, but
Okay.
it's probably going to happen again.
Yes,
So
it's
people can
annual.
go
Yep.
Mhm.
to annual deal where people can go to this .com. You
Mhm.
know where it's .com? They can Google
I
it.
think it's .org now.
.org. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do they do
Nonprofit.
again? That's really cool.
So it's an annual event
Yeah.
to raise awareness for musicians and artists in recovery.
In recovery. Musicians are so funny. Like I just said, we just talked to Ada just now. She's your typical musician, like coming up with creative on the spot, natural marketers.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking, like, who's designing? You know, she said the sticker that I have here was designed by a fan
Oh,
because she
cool.
reached out and said, "Hey, anybody want to do this?" And somebody did it.
Wow,
I'm
very
showing on the
cool.
sticker that the fan came. So that's just
Yeah.
that's smart marketing right there. That's
yeah,
all that
it
is.
sure is.
And you know, she doesn't have any money. She doesn't have a label yet. She's independent, and what a perfect way to get some design done for her.
Yeah,
Also,
absolutely.
just because you mentioned April 12th is also the grand opening of our client, The Archive.
Ooh,
And they are a new dark academia bookstore in Mount Pleasant and Shellmore. And it is so beautiful and cool.
He's
What are you
giving
I wanna
that
go.
everyone's reaction is, what is dark academia?
yeah.
It's very cool. I don't know exactly how
I
to
would say
describe
I
it.
would describe it as like kind of gothic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
But
more moody.
well, there's nothing moodier than gothic.
Okay.
That's like
I guess like
Edgar
It's like
Allan
saying
Poe.
less,
Tai
less
Chi.
like
Or-
devil worship.
No,
and more,
no, nothing like that.
Devil worship.
Well,
It's
God,
like-
isn't it? I don't know.
we're getting
We're not
off track.
selling
We're getting off
this
track.
well.
No. It is a fabulous bookstore that's a little moody. It's got some edge. It's not this like bright, shiny,
Sure.
all white coffee house scenario, but she
Mhm.
also has wine and coffee.
Oh.
And it's a place of just like it feels very intimate. It's got a lot of it's just got a lot of character, and
Bookstore.
you feel very
It's a
connected when you're
right.
there. And it's
But a bookstore, like go have a bottle of
Love it.
wine, hang out.
Ooh.
She has this very cool hidden banned book nook.
Okay.
But so we helped it do all of the branding. It was, I would say, like the quickest brand project we've ever done because Amanda, the owner, she knew exactly what she
Yeah.
wanted. She just needed someone, a company to put
Execute.
it together. But she had her soft opening, and for sure go support her
Oh,
because
sure.
she's great. And
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's
What's
such
it
a
called
cool-
again?
the archive.
The Archive.
Mhm.
That's cool. It almost reminds me the way you're describing it. Have you ever been to the library on Sullivan's Island? I think it's Poe's Library on
No.
Sullivan's Island.
Oh,
Oh, it's cool.
Really?
It's kind of if you go behind all the restaurants and stuff like that,
Yeah.
between the beach and the restaurants, and you know that there's the this abandoned like fort type
Yes.
of thing, right? But if you keep going over there, it's the roof is grass, right? You remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like over foliage and stuff like that. But then if you keep going around the side, there's this door, and it's a perfect little library.
cool.
Yeah, it's the
Wow.
neatest
Yeah, we'll
little
have to
thing.
check it
Never.
out.
Very
yeah, that's so cool. My kids would love
Dark
that.
looking,
Yeah.
very because it's like almost underground. It's like built within this.
That's very cool. I've never heard of that.
Mm-hmm. Anyhow, learning something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else can we talk about?
What
Mhm.
do you have any projects you're working on?
I love projects. I just, we love the corporate sector. So it's nothing like a lot of people don't see 99% of our work
Mhm.
just because it's all like internal. Like we just did a retirement video.
Oh,
my gosh. It
cool.
was the sweetest thing in the
Yeah,
world.
Yeah.
that's
For a
amazing.
bank,
I love
and
that.
the dude's, he's retiring. He was a legend in the bank and and you end up crying over this piece. You know
Oh.
what I mean? And everybody's all tear. Stuff like that, like just
Yeah.
like internal communication, cultural driven stuff for what you would typically think would be boring AF.
Mm-hmm.
We like to kind of have fun with.
Jazz it up.
And how
Yeah.
do you guys get new business? How are
Good.
people finding it?
Just
Yeah.
knock on doors,
Yeah.
Cold LinkedIn. LinkedIn's my fave. We're targeting banks and credit unions in the financial sectors and just helping internal marketing on that end. We've done some really cool things. Like if you go to our website, we've done some really cool
Oh,
things.
I
But we've
have. Your
niched
work
down
is
like
incredible.
Thank you. That's really nice of you. But we've niched down to like let's just focus on this,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and because we love creative and we love bringing different thoughts and strategy to well, like I said, something that would be typically boring.
Well, and it's
Try to
such a
resonate.
great niche because those folks, they don't
Team
hire
of
for
one.
creativity. Yeah, and they don't hire
Mhm.
for creativity ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about logic and math and
Right.
standards and
Right. And
law.
so the fun part is resonating that down to the audience and the
Right.
consumer and taking all that and bringing, oh, hey, I just did that in my voice, but
Yeah.
that was really weird, but you get it.
Yes.
So yeah. Some fun stuff like that.
I think all of our clients over the years have like taught us a lot of things. And I think in the beginning we wanted to work with like exciting, I'm putting
Sure.
quotes up,
Sure. Air
exciting
quotes,
brands,
yeah.
exciting businesses, and like things that had, energy, and not realizing that every business has someone who's the driving passion behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and learning from them that even if it's quote unsexy or something that, isn't as, flashy,
Yeah.
it's so exciting to hear what people are passionate about and to really get into what they're passionate about, what message they want to get across, and then, adding the creativity to
Yeah.
that. It's so cool.
And then seeing it resonate with others,
Right.
Mhm.
and seeing it happen, and then they come back for more.
Right.
It's fun. I like what we
The
do.
fun part.
Of course,
What's your superpower?
ADHD,
That's so perfect.
undiagnosed ADHD. I'm
Oh my gosh,
pretty
you're like
sure.
the 30th
I
person to
love
say that
it.
to me in the last year.
That's
Yeah.
so
I feel like
good.
everybody's like undiagnosed ADHD right
Uh-huh.
here, big time.
Yeah, they didn't diagnose Gen Xers with
Yeah.
ADHD.
Yeah, they were just
so
like, he's confused.
he's a kid.
He's
You don't
having
like to
trouble
be bored.
comprehending.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
always looking.
Right.
what
I
you
just
do
like
next.
exactly what's next.
Well, I don't
Who
even
can
think
I
it's
help?
not that you don't like to be bored; it's that you can't be bored.
I don't know how to be
right?
bored.
Yeah, like your brain, like literally won't let you be bored
Right.
because it's like, oh, that's messed up. Oh,
When
oh,
you
oh.
And
talked
that
about
squirrel.
Yeah. You said you and your partner are
Uh-huh.
very different.
George.
What's that dynamic like?
He's the madman of the group.
Okay.
He's the design artist, strategist. If you would put him into any other agency in town, he would fit right in.
Mhm.
Talking about data, talking about strategy, talking about creative, talking about what colors and what designs. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. He's got both brains.
Mhm.
Where I'm just the song and dance guy. Hey, come work with us. We're fun to work with, and
Mhm.
I produce, and I know how to produce video and produce content.
So wait, let's talk about your TED Talk. What are you going to talk about?
I don't know.
Your undiagnosed ADHD.
Maybe, but I
journey?
think that's almost kind of being used right now.
So I
Like,
was
used
actually
up?
thinking it could be the art of interviewing or something like
Yeah.
that, of
Mm.
like how to like making
I do
connections.
feel like I've gotten better.
Get people
on
comfortable
that.
enough to divulge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we have not answered one question that you provided. I don't think we've gone completely off
Wait,
script.
is that
But you
good?
haven't. It's a great thing because
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
been guiding a really
Oh.
seamless conversation. And I think the art of interviewing, we love, Amber and I both love Howard Stern. And he is such a genius when it comes to getting people comfortable
Sure.
and talking and everything.
Yeah.
I think there is like, Amber knows
The
like
power
what
of suggestion.
what
He is
Ted
so,
would bring you
so good at
through.
it.
But I think you could just talk about like the phases in which you make genuine connections with people and
Mhm.
how you're able to do that in interviews.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like it. You know what?
It's
I'm
really
gonna chat
anything-
GPT that.
it.
What will my TED Talks be? And we'll
I
focus
Here are
that
my
on.
strengths.
Yeah.
I think what I've told people in the past is, I always wanted to give a TED Talk. That was like something that was on my bucket list.
Okay.
And I didn't have anything to talk about. I was very much like, I could talk about anything. Just give me a subject. I'll
Right.
talk, And the way I came up with my subject matter was because I realized that I had said this premise
Mm-hmm.
30 times in the last year.
Yeah.
Every time I met someone new who asked me what it was like to work from home, I launched into this whole diatribe.
Sure.
And then I was like, oh, I need to talk about this. This has nothing to do with like my quote business or my personality. It's just
Mhm.
like how I feel about this is happening to society and whether or not we should do it long term. And it was just like the passion.
What was it? What was your
behind-
TED Talks about? Working from home.
It was called the unintended consequences of remote work.
Find it on YouTube.
Yes.
Perfect.
Please do.
The unintended consequences of
Remote work.
remote work. Okay.
Mhm. And there is
Pre-pandemic too.
Yeah, I
So
worked
she was
from
back
home.
here by the time.
Oh,
I
before it was
started-
cool.
Yeah, I started working from home in 2015, and I did it for 5 years. And then, so at that time when I wrote the TED Talk, I had 5 years in the office and 5 years from home in our company. It was
Sure.
like exact. So I was
Oh.
like, I feel like if anyone's,
Mhm.
able to weigh it accurately and with fairness, I can at this moment. And so I feel like that's what I did.
How long is a TED Talk?
It's 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Mine was about 9:48.
And your times, you can't go above 10.
You cannot go above 10. They will let you go to 11 if you kill it. If you're
Sure.
just like, we cannot get rid of this point, it's too good,
Mhm.
they'll let you go to 11, but they like you to tighten it to 10. There is a timer on stage, which they don't tell you until the very last minute.
Oh.
And you have to just sort of put that out of your mind.
Yeah. Just have it practiced, have your,
Yeah, well, I think people, me included, I didn't realize Charleston has one of the best. I've since talked to a lot of people in other chapters.
Mhm.
Charleston has, this is TEDx, by the way, obviously, not
Mhm.
Big TED. But they have one of the most involved chapters coaching wise. Most people get chosen and then they're like, okay, we'll see you the day before for a dress rehearsal.
Mhm.
Charleston, you have your coaching, one-on-one coaching every week.
Oh.
And then you go to group sessions every other week.
Cool.
So it's like
It's like a leadership thing, huh?
intensive.
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, I was like, this is about to be my part-time job. Like, that's how serious it is. If you want to do well, which everyone does.
And you crushed it, I'm sure.
I
because
think
of
I
that.
did
She
really well.
opened.
Yeah,
she
they
opened TEDx and it was incredible.
They elected me to open, which I was very excited
Oh,
about.
okay. That's opening is it's a good spot.
opening,
You want
yes.
you want the first spot.
I
Okay.
mean,
set the tone.
sure.
Yeah,
and
love it.
the closer's also great, which was Erin Kensel.
Oh, was it?
So good.
Oh, I'm
Hers
sure.
was fantastic.
Well, do you remember
The
what
Power
hers?
of Introverts. I know everybody's. I could probably give them all right now because I'm like, I've heard them so many times. I remember everybody's. But hers was about the power of introverts because she said, I'm a news anchor. You'd think that I'm an extrovert. I am not. I hide in the bathroom during a party and I have to
Mhm.
recharge by myself. And
Mhm.
just her exploration of getting from the common misnomer is that introverts don't like people.
Yeah.
And she loves people.
Yeah.
It's just how you recharge. Do you
Mhm.
recharge with other people or do you recharge by yourself? And so
Mhm.
just her journey on that was really cool
Have you
and
s-
obviously extremely well spoken.
Have you seen her auctioneer yet?
No, but I've heard.
Oh, it's
I've
good.
heard.
She's talented.
How could she not be?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a super talent. And raising a bunch of money for a lot of these nonprofits.
That's
too.
awesome.
Like
Very
these live
cool.
auctions. They had one for Camp Happy Days, and
Days.
she was the auctioneer for that, and yeah, it was great.
How do
Um,
you find out that's your talent? You're like, let me
I
just
know.
try.
I know.
You know what? I asked her, and you can
Yeah.
probably listen to our podcast with
Yeah.
Erin. I think I did ask her, like, what do you mean? It's so random. She's just like, but she's taken classes for it,
Yeah.
and she's trained for it, and all that. So
It's very cool.
found that.
Very
That's
cool.
pretty neat, right? What else, guys? God, good Lord. Every time I try to wrap this up, we always get into another 15-minute conversation. It's kind of fun. Let's talk about how what's in the future for Matchstick. Are you guys growing? Are you guys slimming down? Like, what's the next 5 to 10 years outlook?
What a loaded question.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
we are currently growing. We are currently hiring.
Uh-huh.
I think we always get into like, what do we need skill set wise? And we put out a job description that we think is our best, job. And then we just hire people that we really like that are driven and ambitious and hungry and awesome.
Yeah.
And when their skill set, like we make the job fit the skill set,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
Yep.
There have been a few times where we're like, we just have to hire this person because we don't want them to work anywhere else,
Because they're just so great.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
the
And
personality
oftentimes what you think you're getting hired for, as we get to know you and your strengths and your passion, it's like, okay, well, that's not really what you want to be doing anyway. You want to be doing this. And there's a need,
Yeah.
and we're able to now offer more because of that. So that's kind of the benefit that we get of being a small business too, that we
Mhm.
can,
Right.
pivot
So
as needed.
you mentioned Charlotte
Mhm.
Burger. You mentioned Q and Legacy.
Mhm.
I'm seeing a theme here, right? just known to be a female owned,
Yes.
obviously.
We have
and
just for the record,
Uh-huh.
we've had 3 male employees.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In
Yeah.
our tenure, we've
That's
had
where I'm
3
headed
male
to right
employees.
here. I'm like,
Yes. No,
Yes.
we do not.
But not recently. I think you'd have to be a special human to want to work with a team full of women.
And to be fair, it's when we were social media primarily, we naturally attracted women for better or worse.
marketing
like,
in
this
general,
is not,
but yeah.
yeah.
Such a social
And
media.
so we had never, did Amber and I, as women in business, want to support women in business? Of
100%.
course. But we've never intended to only hire women, nor have we only hired women, as much as now our suspicion is because we have a larger team of only women, those that are applying, it just kind of like begets more female employees type thing. But we are absolutely open.
Okay, good to know.
We're hiring
Listeners.
right now, desperately looking for Google advertising specialist, Meta. We need some help there. Just solely based on the
Workload.
demand. Yeah. I
Sure.
mean, wanting to go to bed at a reasonable hour.
Right.
You wouldn't do that anyway.
I wouldn't. But maybe I could like watch TV instead, like without my computer on my
Wouldn't
lap.
do
White
that.
Lotus time.
Yeah,
White Lotus
right.
time.
Oh, I know. I'm big into White Lotus and Gemstones.
Oh, I haven't
Gotta
I need
watch
to catch up on
Gemstones.
Gemstones. Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Baby Billy's skiing.
Well, you
naked.
were just across the table from a few gemstones. Not
Have
to,
you met?
You were.
Oh yeah.
at Obstinate Daughter.
Yes. So
You saw Danny McBride.
Danny McBride walks in with his husband,
Man.
with his wife.
I didn't know he was gay.
And no, his wife.
Listen, Danny McBride. Are you listening, Dan?
You heard it here. No, he walks in with his wife, and one of our clients, Hart, had just sold Gigi Hadid a necklace, so I knew that Bradley Cooper was in town, and so I made a joke.
Now that story
Yeah.
alone.
I
is-
know.
Okay.
I know. So I made a joke to my friend, like, how cool, Danny McBride's like right behind you. How cool would it be if Bradley Cooper walked in? And like 30 seconds later, she's like, oh, Bradley Cooper's here. And I feel horrible for my friend because the whole dinner, they're behind her. And I'm just like watching but not in a creepy way, just so like, how cool,
Yeah.
And she's like, hey,
I'm
do you want to
talking.
have dinner
Oh,
with me?
I would do the same.
But,
For
yeah,
sure. How can you
but-
not stare at Bradley Cooper?
Right. Oops,
But the
sorry.
part he played in that, since you haven't
No,
seen
I
it
haven't
yet,
seen it
is-
yet.
is
Yeah,
so
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different.
I mean, he's such a good actor.
Mhm.
His interviews, speaking of the art of interviewing, do you listen to Armchair Expert?
Yeah. Dax
Yeah,
is,
Dax is-
I
Yeah, I
love
think,
that.
hot
I love
take,
it.
you're a better interviewer than Dax.
Shut your face. Don't
Dax-
say that.
He interrupts so much. I like have a difficult time.
Well, he's got that ego. You know, it's those guys with the egos, they want to talk.
He's also ADHD as well.
Well, but he lets you finish the story,
Yeah.
I mean, you let him,
Yeah,
I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah.
no. But I love it. I love Armchair.
Yeah.
The way that he gets people to be vulnerable because he's bringing in his friends or people he respects, I
Yeah.
think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But his Bradley Cooper's recent one was
Oh.
really, recent. It's probably like a year old by now.
Yeah.
But it
it's
was really
though.
good.
It's
He
really
like
good.
he's very Bradley Cooper now I'm talking about is very like what's the word I'm looking for? Every day he wakes up and he does the exact same thing. He
Really?
Creature
has
of habit.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I hear you. And he does like a cold plunge every single day. And
Lost
he
me.
does like, right?
I'm not doing cold. My wife does it. I'm not.
Does she go to Sweat House?
Did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a membership. I've only gone twice.
Yeah. That's why I did, is the answer there. Yeah.
I'm like, I think the longest I've lasted is 3 minutes. I struggle. But I respect it and I
Yeah.
get the desire. But
Manifesting Danny McBride on our show. Like, let's just
Yeah.
manifest that. Like, that would be
well, we
cool.
can tag him.
You know what I did I reached out on Instagram,
Did you?
invited to my birthday party.
Oh my gosh.
How stupid is that?
No,
This is
it's
like
not
when I
that
first
stupid.
moved
You
here because I
never
knew
know.
he lived here. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, but like,
Come party with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Well,
All of a
now
sudden he
you get
shows
to
up.
say, well, I'm the president of AMA.
Oh, yeah, right.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be, it
Yeah.
would be awesome to have him or anybody on his team. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome how he brought LA here.
Mhm.
And as a film geek, like wanted to be a filmmaker, like that's just amazing.
Yeah.
That's here. A lot of great talent here in Charleston. So thank you for staying. You guys included as the talent here. Like you've been here in business since 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I moved here in
I think
2008.
2010.
Sure, that's early on
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for most of us. I'm 2019.
Yeah.
But you guys chose to stay. Can you tell me like why you chose Charleston to
Well, yours is a
live
more
and grow and build?
compelling story.
Which part? My family?
Yeah.
But we only have a couple minutes.
Okay,
so.
fair. Why did I stay? I mean, is there any place more beautiful than Charleston? I think, to be fair, my family and my best friend has since followed me here rather than, I don't know where I would go at this point. All my family, other than a couple, are here.
Where were you from then?
New York.
Okay.
So I did
New York City.
So I grew up about 30 miles north of Manhattan.
Okay.
And I did what everybody in my hometown was meant to do, which is go somewhere for college and then come back, move to the city, get a job, and then until you're ready to have kids, you live in Manhattan. It's kind of like, pre-pandemic, at least that was the norm. And my first job, I worked, 10 plus hour days at this PR firm and was taught everything not to do.
I know
in
that.
terms
I've
of
had
when
that.
I became a
Correct.
boss myself.
Mm-hmm.
And got to a point, I think honestly it was my dad that was like, F that, like this is not what a career is meant to look like. And I had great opportunities, but it just wasn't the right fit. And I applied for jobs in Denver, Charleston, and DC, and I got my first job down here from New York. And then, I mean,
At
honestly,
an agency or?
I worked it was PR and marketing for a, they're still around too. I'll plug them. The Keynote Group. Yolanda, who owns it, she actually works with TEDx now, but she used to work in the marketing department with Tony Robbins and did all from the beginning.
Cool.
And so she then created her own business where she did marketing. So built brands, websites, social media, everything for speakers, and then actually booked them. So that's where I started. I worked for her for probably 3 or 4 years, and then started working at agencies.
Downtown Charleston, or
at the time it was in Mount Pleasant.
Sure.
I think she's on Daniel Island now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But
then
stayed.
from there, so from there I went agency, and I could never go back because I was doing Super Bowl campaigns and big, we worked with Bridgestone Tires and Firestone Complete Auto Care, and it was just so fun. And I got to go CMA Fest because our clients were sponsors a couple years, and then I was like, all right,
that's funny. I've been to a couple CMA Fests.
So fun.
So fun.
Yeah. I
I
met
didn't
Taylor
go for
Swift
work.
there.
Oh my God.
Right? Pretty
Cool.
neat, huh?
Very
She
cool.
thought I was a jock. She said goodbye. I'm like, bye.
You probably went the year I went, because I don't think she was there for many years.
I mean,
And
super, first year she was out,
yeah.
rookie season or something.
Yeah,
like
I don't
that.
think it was her rookie season I went, but I did see her
something
there,
similar.
and it was fantastic.
07, 08, 09, something in there.
Yeah.
I worked for a company, and we did video for radio,
Cool.
live stream,
Yeah.
back when live stream was cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But you stayed because of the city and the people and the
Yes.
thing. And
Yeah. Why
beaches
live
and-
anywhere else?
Yeah.
Because, well, I think to harken back to what we were talking about, because from a business standpoint, there's so much support and opportunity. And honestly, I get annoyed at times because the reason I came here from leaving New York is what I find is happening here.
you're part
to
of the
a
problem.
degree.
You're part of the problem, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's fair. But just the cost and the traffic and all the things. But I do think as a small business owner, that I don't feel there once upon a time where I'm like, well, we're going to flatline eventually or plateau because of being here. And I don't feel that way at all.
Cool.
I think the reason that is complete out of the conversation, because not only is Charleston growing, but the economic growth and the openness for investing in marketing and knowing this isn't something a luxury that we have to really push hard to sell. Again, Amber, I think, said really well earlier that it's more of are we the right fit for you, is what growing our business has turned into than selling you on why you need meta ads,
Yeah.
And that's a part of the growth in the community, I think.
Yeah. We're a small city, but there's a lot of opportunity
For sure.
in the small city.
Yeah.
I did. My parents were looking at me like cross-eyed too. You're
Yeah.
coming from Tampa, which is a bigger market, to a smaller market, and I just didn't know that. I guess it didn't really. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm like, oh shit, that's right. But I got here, and you just have to put your faith in it. I think one of our interviews, Jared Black of Into Black, he said, if you embrace Charleston, Charleston will embrace you. And he's a commune too. I mean, he's been here a while, but you know what I mean? Like this is. I thought that was really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, my perspective of Charleston, I grew up just down the road in Murrells Inlet.
Okay.
So I have been coming here a long time, and I had friends that came to College of Charleston, and I visited throughout college. But my, experience with it growing up was it was not cool at all. It was like where my grandparents lived,
Sure.
and it's where you went back to school shopping, and that was it. Like that was all Charleston offered us. And then when I came down here for college is when it first started to like kind of grow and get this new like youthful. The really old school people on this listening will remember Granny's Goodies was on King Street, and that was like, but to think about Granny's Goodies being on King Street blows my mind now, because I'm like, that was like a vintage, like super crunchy hippie.
You did just light up a little bit.
It
Like,
was-
you must love this place.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. But like that could never survive now. But back then it was like kind of this crunchy, hippie, young, the College of Charleston was growing.
Yeah.
And so it was getting this like more youthful vibe. And then after we moved down here, it still felt a little like corporate. And then it started to really take off with the food and, the festivals and all of it. So it's so funny because people are like, oh man, growing up next to Charleston should have been awesome. And I was like, I mean, to be honest, Myrtle Beach was cooler at the time.
Oh, Dirty Myrtle.
Which is
That's saying a lot.
crazy.
Yeah.
Which is, my dad still lives, he works in Myrtle Beach. He lives in Murrells Inlet. And we're constantly like, why are you still there? Like, you love to golf. Come down here. And he's like, never. Charleston's gotten too big for its britches. I'm like, okay, fine.
There you go. Yeah, true. Yeah, same. I just love the people and the location and raising the families. And I'm on a cul-de-sac with the golf cart and the teeters down the road. And I'm at the grocery store twice a day. And, the things,
Yeah.
There's always something to do. There's always an event to go to.
There's something to do, but there's not so much to do that you feel like you have to do everything.
Well, that's because we're old now. That's because
We choose not to do everything. We've
when I
learned that
moved-
lesson.
When I moved to Oklahoma, the biggest difference, obviously, is that I was in rural Oklahoma.
Oh,
like 45
okay.
minutes to a Target.
Woo!
And the lesson I learned there about slow living
Yeah.
and intentional living and not being so, and I told my husband, I was like, I was 7 months pregnant when we moved there. And I was like, this was such a blessing because we would have still been trying to do stuff with our friends in Charleston
Yeah.
and raise this kid, raise this
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
And because that's removed, nothing to do. The only thing you could do
Yeah.
is go to your
Slow
neighbor's house
down.
and drink a beer.
Yeah.
So like it was so nice because we got that like really, really focused time.
Mhm.
And then we got back and we're like, okay, now it's party time.
There's times for everything, right?
Yeah.
You have what is it, seasons, right?
Yes.
For your kids, and then you got your career, and then you got your parent. There's you just got to ebb and flow with what
Right.
season you're in, and just understand that it's not all going to come at once, but when you need it, it'll come,
Right.
right? Is that-
Absolutely.
I got this new tagline I'm breaking out here. I have a lot to give, and I have a lot to learn.
Love it.
That's going to be my kind of like tagline for podcasting.
There
You like that,
go.
Matt?
I love it.
And
Yeah?
perhaps your TEDx topic.
Ooh,
Yeah, there's your title.
There it is. ChatGPT, TEDx me. Write me a 10-minute TEDx thing. Oh, I love it. Guys, thanks for coming. Thanks
Thank
for
you
doing
for
this.
having us.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
glad
you
I
so much for
pressured you,
having
Rach,
us.
into doing this.
I did too. She tried to bail this morning.
I was
You know
like,
what? I
so does this
specifically
mean-
didn't press.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was about to email you. I was about to text. I don't know if I have yourself, but I was about to do all the things. I'm like, you can do this. Like, but I'm like, you know what? She's gonna do it. She's
Thank
gonna come
you.
on her own.
No,
I'm not gonna
appreciate
pressure
it.
her into
It's
it.
good.
Because, yeah.
The thing is, I can pitch to a board and like get hyped, but
Uh-huh.
there's something about
Yeah.
getting in my head. Like I'm like, there's a camera, and everything I say is being recorded.
Is the
and
camera
I
still
just
running? Okay, good. The camera is
Yeah.
still running.
Panic. Well, I'm
The
kind of hidden
sophisticated
behind.
eye-
Yeah, you are
iPad.
behind
I'm
that.
hidden
like
behind the
friends that are
screen,
Like,
so-
I think I wear
Gosh.
Matchstick red.
for the best.
You are on
Thank
brand.
you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
we
thank you
really
for having
appreciate
us.
it.
Uh-huh.
This was
Appreciate
fun.
Yeah, cool. Before we leave, we need to thank our sponsors, the Charleston Media Solutions, Jerry Feels Good with the Boots, and the American Marketing Association. If you want to be a sponsor or a guest on the show, reach out to podcast@charlestonama.org, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for being with us again, ladies. Matchstick Social, look them up, follow them on social, give her tags. You have tags and all that?
Matchstick Social.
Matchstick Social?
matchsticksocial.com
At Matchstick
and
Social?
at Matchstick
Yeah.
Social.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Love it. Till next time, guys.